Hi, this is JK from meganandjk.com, the place to go for people who want to raise a family and build a business all from home. I'm here in our bathroom, and that really starts a couple months ago, maybe, when Megan said, "There's all this stuff in our toilet and it smells really bad." And I'm like, "Sweetheart, it's a toilet. What do you expect?" And she's like, "No, it's like unusually bad." So we take a look at it, and there's this black stuff kind of accumulating on the inside of the toilet. It doesn't come off with a normal brush. We tried bleach, we tried borax, we tried everything, just scrubbing it, scrubbing it, scrubbing it, and it doesn't come off. We basically found out it was mold. And mold tends to grow in places that are warm, damp, and dark. And your toilet bowl pretty much accommodates all three of those. But you know what's even worse, or better if you're mold, is the inside of your toilet. All the piping that runs between it. It's warm, wet, and even darker because no light, gets in. When you open the toilet, at least, some of the light will kill some of the mold. So what the solution we found will kill all the mold in the toilet bowl and in the toilet itself. The solution we have is fairly simple and only requires 3 tools: bleach, 4 or 5 feet of this plastic tubing, and one of those pumps that people put in pots to make fountains. This runs about $10 or $15 at a hardware store, and you get all 3 of these at the hardware store. Stay till the end of the video. I'll tell you what to do if you don't have one of these on hand, or if you just don't want to buy one. Before we really dive in, the first thing you have to do is shut off the water to the toilet, and then drain as much out of it as you can. Whether that requires flushing it, most of the time flushing it 2 or 3 times, you can get most of the water out, and by shutting it off, it won't refill again. The more water you get out, the better, because it'll increase the concentration of the amount of bleach you put in. At this point, since you drain most of the water, you can see most of the inner workings of the toilet pretty well. When you pull this the lever up, you see that large section that is open there? You're going to stick the one end of the tube down in there. What we're doing by making this setup is basically creating an artificial flush, and then we're going to fill the toilet bowl with bleach. So basically it's constantly flushing bleach throughout the entire system, and we're going to let it go for a couple hours. Again, this is just a pump that we had in our garage because we were going to build some fountains, but we never did. You got to make sure your tubing is the right length. Too long, and the pump won't have enough pressure to force the water out. Too short, and it won't be able to fit all the way up and around and down into the, the tubing. Ours is just barely long enough, so we had to use a little tape to make sure it stayed there. Now the next step is to plug in the pump. The next step is the fun part. It's to just dump a bunch of bleach in the toilet. I've got a gallon here. I just poured about half of it in there. So, well, I'm going to pour about half. Now I've poured about half of it in there. And at this point, we just let it run for a couple hours and come back. So what you're doing right now is basically simulating a constant flush of bleach through your entire toilet system. Rather than just scrubbing the bowl, putting bleach through this pump and through the whole system allows it to run through all the tubing and piping that runs in your toilet seat. And if you get up close, you can actually see the bleach coming out. So it's been about 3 hours. And now the next step is to reassemble your toilet and disassemble all the stuff you've got going on in it. But what do you do if you don't have one of those garden pot pumps laying around? One trick we've heard online, we haven't tested it, is to put duct tape around the inside of your lid, or to plug the holes with rubber, and can basically run the same process. Dump a bunch of bleach and flush it, and the bleach will be trapped in the piping and the tubing inside the toilet, and just leave it there overnight. At this point, your toilet's been reassembled, the water's been turned back on, and your tank's full again with water. So flush it a couple more times to flush the bleach out of the system. Next, you'll use a basic toilet brush and scrub lightly, or scrub around the inside the bowl. There's a chance that you might have some stuff still stuck on the bowl. I mean, at this point, you can kind of see it looks better, but it's definitely not perfect. We know that stuff that's stuck on the bowl isn't mold, or at least it's dead mold, because we just ran solid bleach over it for the past 3 hours. So it's not, I hope it's not harmful for you. You probably should be wearing a mask that I'm not wearing. But so we're going to scrub it with a toilet brush, and anything that's left over, we're going to go over it and scrub or scratch it off with a very fine either sanding block or steel wool. Don't use sandpaper, that's kind of pretty abrasive. But when this gets wet, it's abrasive enough to get stuff off, but not to scratch your toilet seat. So we just killed all the mold, got all the calcium deposits off, and now it's time to kind of clean it like normal. And even though we just dumped a whole bunch of chemicals on there, they're gone. And in order for us to make us feel good about having Lachlan near it, because his newfound fascination with toilets, um, we like to use a more natural approach to kind of finishing it off. There are a lot of essential oils that are beneficial for killing mold, such as cinnamon, thyme, oregano, tea tree oil, and clove. Um, we like to use this, which is doTERRA's On Guard mixture, concentrate mixture, and it's got basically all of those in it. And Megan likes the way it smells. So that's what we're going to use. I'm dump some of it in there and scrub around with a kind of regular toilet brush. There are a ton of other options that you can use that are natural products that can help fight mold and keep your toilet looking good, smelling good, and mold free for a long time. Guys, I promise if you do this for your wives or girlfriends or whomever, you'll score major brownie points. Even if it's just your own house and your girlfriend comes over. Totally worth it. So if you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a thumbs up and share it with a neat freak that you know in your life or someone with a dirty bathroom. And then head on over to meganandjk.com. We have tons of free resources for people who want to raise a family or build a business from home. Thanks. I hope you liked it. I hope you can keep your bathrooms clean.